Super nutrients, the power of nature in its purest form. Drawing inspiration from the wisdom of nature and Romanian traditions, Pro Natura has created Super Nutrients, an innovative dietary supplement based on 3 Romanian inventions developed by PhD, MD Ionuț Moraru, with remarkable nutritional and therapeutic value. Amrita, multifloral pollen fermented in a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and SCOBY. Kombu drone larvae fermented in SCOBY, in kefir. Colostrum fermented in kefir. The formula is further enhanced with aronium, the superfruit with the highest scientifically validated antioxidant density. Combined, these ingredients not only preserve their individual properties, but also support one another, amplifying their effects and creating a synergistic, complementary impact on health, providing the body with complete, integrated revitalization. Amrita, polyfloral pollen fermented in SCOBY. The Pro Natura team created Amrita, from Sanskrit, food of the gods, a unique ingredient obtained by fermenting polyfloral pollen in a SCOBY. It is used both as a tribiotic dietary supplement and as a dermocosmetic active in the Bee Beauty range. This gift of nature brings back into the present a lesson lost over time, one our ancestors understood instinctively. True nourishment does more than feed. It heals, protects, and revitalizes. Today, functional medicine is beginning to decipher and confirm the holistic power that nature has always provided. The fermentation of polyfloral pollen in a SCOBY leads to the breakdown of its cell walls, which significantly increases bioavailability, as well as a 4-fold increase in polyphenols, a 2-fold increase in flavonoids, higher levels of organic acids and short-chain fatty acids, and the formation of soluble silicon, orthosilicic acid, spermidine, rare sugars, exosomes, bacteriophages, and more. This process also enhances adhesion to the intestinal mucosa through the formation of microbial nanocellulose, which acts as an efficient carrier for active compounds while simultaneously improving the microbiological profile by promoting the growth of lactic acid bacteria. The vinegar produced through fermentation hydrolyzes phytic acid, an anti-nutrient also present in pollen, thereby allowing better absorption of nutrients. The results demonstrate increased antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity compared to raw pollen and bee bread, a strong prebiotic potential with a marked increase in lactobacillus populations, and an anti-tumor effect on colorectal cancer cells, CaCO2. These properties give the product applicability in both nutrition and the prevention of diseases associated with oxidative stress. Research did not stop there. Evaluations conducted by the Victor Babeș National Institute for Research and Development in Pathology and Biomedical Sciences on the bioproduct, Amrita demonstrated significant in vitro antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-proliferative activity on the hepatocellular carcinoma cell lines, HepG2 and SKHEP1, suggesting a promising therapeutic potential in oncology. At the same time, no toxicity or mutagenic effects were observed. Within the same study, the optimal formulation was also established. 75% Amrita and 25% kefir, colostrum fermented in kefir. This combination exhibited the most pronounced anti-proliferative effect on the tumor hepatic cell lines while maintaining selectivity toward normal hepatic and monocytic cells. The most recent studies conducted in 2025 at the University of Salerno, Italy, on the Amrita supplement, using one of the most advanced analytical methods currently available, revealed an extremely complex nutritional profile. In intestinal epithelial cell cultures, the following effects were observed: absence of cellular toxicity, marked reduction of free radicals with pronounced antioxidant effects, and anti-inflammatory mechanisms mediated through the regulation of COX-2 expression. Furthermore, Amrita demonstrated efficacy in reducing severe inflammation induced by the combined action of lipopolysaccharides and interferon gamma in intestinal epithelial cells. Effects on the digestive system. The compounds identified in this study exert gastroprotective effects through several convergent mechanisms. 1. Antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Most of these compounds reduce oxidative stress, neutralize free radicals, and inhibit inflammatory processes at the level of the digestive mucosa. These actions prevent lipid peroxidation, protect cellular membranes, and reduce the risk of oxidative damage to the gastrointestinal epithelium. 2. Protection of the gastric and intestinal mucosa. An increase in mucus secretion and endogenous protective factors, such as polyamines and flavonoids, is observed. This enhances the resistance of the gastric epithelium to the aggressive action of hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes. The risk of ulcer formation is reduced by strengthening the mucosal barrier and accelerating the healing of lesions. 3. Regulation of gastric and intestinal secretions. Certain substances, caffeine, theobromine, flavonoids, modulate the secretion of gastric acid and digestive enzymes. In this way, a balance is maintained between aggressive factors, acid, pepsin, free radicals, and defensive mechanisms, mucus, bicarbonate, local blood flow. 4. Effects on motility and microcirculation. Some compounds influence intestinal motility and improve local blood flow, enhancing oxygenation and nutrition of the mucosa. This mechanism contributes to faster regeneration and healing of lesions. 5. Anti-cancer effects. Several compound classes, especially flavonoids, polyamines, and phenolic acids, inhibit precancerous processes by suppressing uncontrolled cell proliferation, inducing apoptosis of abnormal cells, modulating detoxifying enzymes. 6. Restores intestinal microbiota balance. Polyfloral pollen fermented with SCOBY is a functional food that, through the biotransformation of proteins, polyphenols, and carbohydrates, generates bioactive peptides, fibers, postbiotics, and phenolic metabolites that stimulate the intestinal microbiota. These compounds serve as substrates for beneficial bacteria, Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, Akkermansia, promoting the production of short-chain fatty acids, acetate, propionate, butyrate, maintaining intestinal barrier integrity, and reducing systemic inflammation. The influence of these metabolites on the body's functional axes includes gut-brain axis, regulation of neurotransmitters, neuronal plasticity, and stress response. Gut-liver axis, support of detoxification, reduction of inflammation, and regulation of lipid metabolism. Gut immune system inflammation axis, the maintenance of balance between the inflammatory response and immune tolerance is also supported by the production, as a result of fermentation, of a highly diverse range of epoxy and hydroxyoxylipins. These molecules act as a natural off switch for inflammation by inhibiting the intracellular signaling pathway of p38 mitogen-activated protein kinase and reducing the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines. In addition, they exert a pro-resolving effect by reducing pro-inflammatory signals and promoting macrophage polarization toward a reparative M2 phenotype, which is involved in the resolution of inflammation and tissue repair. Synthetic p38 mitogen-activated protein. Kinase synthesis inhibitors used in the pharmaceutical industry often exhibit significant side effects and potential toxicity, whereas natural compounds finely regulate monocyte transition and macrophage activation toward pro-resolving phenotypes, providing beneficial and safe effects. Gut-skin axis. Reduction of cutaneous inflammation and support of tissue regeneration. Gut-kidney axis. Influence on toxin metabolism and electrolyte balance. Gut cardiovascular system axis. Modulation of blood pressure and inflammatory markers. Gut endocrine/metabolic axis. Regulation of glucose, lipids, and metabolic hormones. Thus, the bioactive metabolites of fermented pollen interact synergistically with the intestinal microbiome, integrating their effects into a systemic, adaptive, and beneficial response. It is essential to note that these mechanisms do not remain local, as the intestine represents the starting point for numerous chronic conditions, from metabolic syndrome and cardiovascular diseases to neurological and oncological disorders. Thus, the digestive system becomes a core hub of balance and regeneration for the entire body, reaffirming Hippocrates' vision. All diseases begin in the gut. A key aspect is represented by spermidine and its polyphenolic metabolites, present in all three ingredients, which form a central pillar of digestive protective action. The polyamine component stimulates autophagy and epithelial regeneration, while the phenolic residues of p-coumaric acid add antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-tumoral effects. Due to their stability, these conjugates can act locally in the intestine, protecting the mucosa and supporting epithelial barrier integrity prior to systemic absorption. Moreover, they function as slow-release reservoirs of spermidine, providing continuous support for gastrointestinal health and resilience, with marked effects on autophagy and anti-aging processes. The biofunctional and systemic profile of Amrita. 1. Metabolic management and glycemic homeostasis. Amrita exerts a profound modulatory effect on energy metabolism. Through fermentation, pollen releases compounds that improve cellular insulin sensitivity and provide active protection to pancreatic beta cells. Acest stimulates the natural secretion of GLP-1 and PYY, key hormones involved in appetite regulation and optimization of metabolic rate. Microbiota balance acts as a symbiotic, pre- and postbiotic, rebalancing intestinal flora and reducing systemic inflammation. 2. Bioenergetics and mitochondrial optimization. At the cellular level, Amrita supports mitochondrial function, the cell's energy powerhouses. This increases ATP production efficiency, providing sustained energy levels and reducing oxidative stress that degrades cells during physical effort or stress. 3. Nephrological support and renal reconstruction. Amrita exhibits unique nephroprotective properties, acting on multiple levels. Tubulo-interstitial integrity protects renal tubules and reduces the risk of fibrosis, renal tissue scarring. Hemodynamics improves renal microcirculation, facilitating efficient toxin filtration and helping prevent kidney stone formation. 4. Longevity biology and geroprotection. Intervention in biological aging processes is achieved by activating endogenous maintenance mechanisms. Amrita helps slow molecular degradation by directly addressing the causes of cellular senescence and supporting the body's self-repair capacity. 5. Oncopreventive potential and immunometabolic modulation. The product provides a synergistic approach to maintaining cellular integrity. Direct action supports immune surveillance mechanisms that identify and neutralize abnormal cells. Indirect modulation optimizes the metabolic environment, making it less favorable to tumor proliferation processes. 6. Regenerative dermatology and skin rejuvenation. Thanks to the increased bioavailability of nutrients from fermented pollen, Amrita stimulates epidermal repair. It accelerates collagen synthesis and skin barrier regeneration, promoting rapid and aesthetically favorable healing of lesions. 7. Systemic detoxification and autophagy activation. Unlike aggressive detox regimens, Amrita works in harmony with the body's own systems. Hepatic system activates enzymes responsible for toxin neutralization. Autophagy stimulates the natural cellular recycling process through which cells eliminate damaged proteins and worn organelles, thereby protecting the entire biological system. Respiratory system protects respiratory health both through the gut-lung axis and via bioactive postbiotics formed during fermentation, SCFAS, polyphenols, flavonoids, spermidine, epoxyoxylipins. These compounds reduce bronchial inflammation, stabilize mast cells, and polarize alveolar macrophages toward the M2 phenotype, thereby supporting inflammation resolution and protection of the pulmonary epithelium. If you want to dive deeper into the world of supernutrients, stay with us and subscribe. More science-driven episodes are coming.